Hi, guys, and welcome back to the middle game with Lula and Amelia. This week, our producer isn't here, so we can do literally anything we want and nobody will tell us off.
That's so true. Welcome to the silliest and goofiest episode of the middle game yet. I'm really excited. Today, we are going to talk about celebrities who play chess, and we are going to kind of go through which celebrities are really famous for playing chess. Maybe we'll do a little guessing about what their elo is, but mostly we want to talk about why celebrities think it's so fun to performatively play chess.
So true, because I think like everybody has a chessboard. Everybody rich has a chessboard in their home for some reason. And obviously, there is something attractive about the aesthetic of playing chess. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. But I think let's start by talking about people who we actually know do play chess. So I think number one highest rated chess player that we could find who is also a major celebrity would be George R. R. Martin. And he has an inactive USCF rating of 1900. So maybe FIDE 1800, but this is a rating from the 90s.
This makes sense for me though, and my brain can comprehend this given his writing of Game of Thrones, right? And also, he did not write The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
No, that is J.R.R. Tolkien.
Okay, so both have RR as their middle name, but
Yeah, George, I guess, was inspired by Tolkien. I mean, a lot of people are inspired by Tolkien.
yeah, for sure. And I think that this makes sense that George R. R. Martin is probably one of the highest rated given the complexity of Game of Thrones, even though he really hasn't finished Game of Thrones yet.
I think that, like, it makes sense. I was doing a little bit of research and I saw that when he was in his 20s, he used to, travel and play chess tournaments. Like, he was really into it. He was playing the chess circuit. And I think that, yeah, for somebody who's going to write this many books and have this level of depth in their writing, there is definitely some kind of hyperfixation required to go to that depth. And chess kind of requires the same thing. It's like a singularity of concentration. So I can see why it makes sense for him to have been a strong chess player. And I think 1900 is a very strong chess player. I know that we think if you're not a grandmaster, you're not strong, but it's higher than probably 99% of the population. So definitely strong. I wonder if he's still so strong because chess skill, it does kind of decrease if you stop playing for however many years, 35 years or whatever. But, I think that 1900 is definitely a rating to be proud of.
For sure. And I think that there are a lot of celebrities similar to kind of the genius mind of George R. R. Martin that probably have higher chess ratings. I think when we were doing research for this episode, it was really hard to find celebrities' actual ratings, but um, someone I put really in parallel with George R. R. Martin is Stanley Kubrick. And in the 80s, he did an interview that said he used to play chess for 12 hours a day and he used to play a lot in Washington Square Park. And he also includes a lot of chess in his movies. One notable one is 2001 A Space Odyssey. And so I kind of see them in the vein of like these minds who, I mean, George R. R. Martin is a literary kind of genius with Game of Thrones. Stanley Kubrick, he is a filmmaking genius. And so I see the hyperfixation on chess by these two people as making sense. But there are some other celebrities where it just doesn't make sense to me that they play chess. And I'm really confused as to I'm not even really sure if they know how to move the pieces, but um they do technically know how to play. Like Keanu Reeves is one that comes to mind.
Okay, but Keanu Reeves, he recently was producing a chess documentary. So I think that he must have a skill level. And I don't know what it is. I think in order to be involved enough to want to work on a chess documentary, you have to be at least like 1,000 or 1,200 or something. You have to be able to set up a board and, know some openings and stuff. You can't just make a movie about something that you know nothing about, right? Especially from a creative standpoint. It's not like he's an actor and like in the Queen's Gambit where Anya Taylor-Joy said she didn't learn to play chess, she just learned the choreography from moving the pieces like she would learn a dance. You can't do that if you're the one like producing and making the film, you know, because you have to make it look like everybody knows what's going on.
That's true. And I think that I think it's just because with Keanu Reeves, all I imagine him as is like John Wick or that movie that he's in with Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
Uh
Speed.
Speed, yes. And
Speed when they're
so
on the bus and the bus and it's like I'm every time I remember that that film exists, I'm like, how did this get made? Because it's like they're literally just on a bus and the bus is gonna crash. Like that's the whole film.
but
Spoilers.
it's such a good film. And I just so for me when I'm like, "Oh yeah, Keanu Reeves produced a chess documentary." I'm like, "Speed guy? That guy?"
Speed guy? Do you know what? Actually, just a slight detour. Watching Speed, I think, changed my brain chemistry. I remember watching it when I was a kid on my like tiny TV in my tiny childhood bedroom because I had like unsupervised access to the TV and it was on like channel 4 after like 9 p.m. and I was like, hell yeah, I'm watching Speed and I saw Keanu Reeves and I saw Sandra Bullock and I think that was my sexual awakening.
Me too. I didn't watch it on TV, but it was definitely also my sexual awakening. And I don't know if you know this, this is a complete side tangent, but like Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves were like madly in love. And they
No
talk about
way.
it in interviews, but they always see each other as like, you know, the one that got away. And I love that. And
Oh,
rewatching
wow.
Speed, knowing that, it really changed my
Makes
brain chemistry
sense.
as well.
Crazy. I also saw, you know, whilst we're on actors, I remember a long time ago when I was new to chess, I watched a film called Pawn Sacrifice, which is about Bobby Fischer and kind of his life. And it stars Tobey Maguire, who is Spider-Man. But also I think Tobey Maguire like either directed it or produced it as well. Like, he had a very large role in getting that film made. So I think he is also a very big chess fan at the very least. But I think he must also be a chess player in order to have wanted to make that film about Bobby Fischer.
I think so. I think if you're getting into the depths of like knowing who Bobby Fischer is, then you definitely have a higher respect for chess and a higher understanding of chess than maybe some other people. And I, so that makes a lot of sense. Were you able to find a rating for him online?
No, I wasn't. Most of these celebrities don't have public accounts on
Mhm.
chess.com, sadly. I'm sure a lot of them probably do have accounts, but I just think they're anonymous.
Yeah, I also think they're anonymous, but I mean, I guess if he's playing Bobby Fischer in Pawn Sacrifice, like he's got to be kind of similar to Keanu Reeves, like 1,000, 1,200. Kind of got into the chess history side a little bit, and um, so he was like, ah, you know what? I'm gonna make a movie about this.
Yeah, I think they're all at least, you know, 4 digits because that's when you've kind of learned a little bit about strategy and openings and you can make a plan and that's kind of I think you get your teeth into chess and you actually start to be interested in the lore and the history. And so I agree. I think they would be at least 1,000. But there's also Woody Harrelson. So he I know has visited some prisons in the UK to work on the Chess in Prisons program there, which is really cool of him.
That's super cool of him. He is the guy that played what is his name? Haymitch in the Hunger Games.
Yes, he plays Haymitch in the Hunger Games, the guy who is like the washed up winner of the Hunger Games. But he's also in so many great films. I think my first introduction to him was Zombieland with Jesse Eisenberg and Emma Stone. And it's so good. You're looking at me like you didn't know this film existed. It's a great film. There's even a second one. There's a sequel. You have to see it.
Okay, I'm putting that on my list. But okay,
Yeah,
Woody
it's not like a
Harrelson.
horror. It's funny.
Okay. As long as it's not too
Hmm.
scary, it should be fine. But okay, Woody Harrelson playing with people in prison. That's really great. I like when celebrities get into chess kind of outside of just playing online or playing to post a picture on Instagram. And so um that's really cool.
He also played the ceremonial first move at the World Chess Championship in 2018, but it was kind of like viral at the time because he actually knocked over the king when he went to do it, which, if you didn't know, is what kids do when they resign. Um, and also, he played the wrong first move as well. So, I mean, a lot of the time, players will take back a ceremonial move and play the move anyway, but he just played straight up the wrong move.
That's crazy. Honestly, though, I feel like having the opportunity to make the ceremonial first move has to be, especially at a World Chess Championship, it has to be such a nerve-wracking thing. And so I think I also would probably knock over the king. Uh, but it seems like Woody Harrelson, if he's doing kind of all of this extra stuff in chess, also has like a pretty high rating. Um, but like at least 4 digits. But I think that there are a lot of celebrities that I originally thought had high ratings, but then I was doing the research for this episode and they actually don't have high ratings at all. Part of the reason why actually I wanted to make this episode is because I love Formula One and I'm really obsessed with when the guys who race in Formula One play chess and post pictures of it online. The most famous one is Charles Leclerc. He's an F1 driver for the Ferrari team. This man loves posting that he plays chess. He will take pictures of himself on his private jet. The board is set up correctly. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I went to check his rating, 737 rapid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like good for him. First of all, good for him that he has, he's playing online and he has a rating and he, is proud of that. But it's kind of crazy to me that you would post so often, like in a way that's flexing, like on my private jet playing chess, not just posting like, hey guys, I love chess and I'm really trying to improve, just like actually flexing that you're playing. And then somebody looks up your rating and you're 700. And like, there's nothing wrong with being 700. I actually think it's
Yeah.
the average rating on chess.com these days. Um, but yeah, for somebody who posts so much and also for multiple years, like he's been posting like this for a few years now, and he doesn't seem to be improving.
I mean, it makes sense because he has like a whole other full-time job, which is, driving really fast Formula One cars. And so I get that he can't spend, you know, 3 hours every day studying his openings. But I don't know why the photo shoots that he takes on his private jets playing chess, I really thought like he at least like 1,000. And not that his rating's bad. I agree, like 700 is not bad whatsoever. I just like was surprised. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially because to be a Formula One driver, you have to be an incredibly competitive person, right? It's an incredibly high stakes sport. I did see the F1 movie, so I'm an expert now. And I think that for somebody who's so competitive, you have to want to like improve, surely. Like it's fine to not want to improve in chess, but I'm just surprised that somebody with such a competitive job chooses a highly competitive hobby and then doesn't care to compete in it. Like that's
Yeah.
just a strange paradox to me.
Me too. And especially because a little Formula One lore for those listening and those who don't know, but last year his racing mate was a guy named Carlos Sainz. And when Charles started getting into chess, he also made Carlos start playing chess. And so now they both kind of, I think Charles more so performatively plays chess, but Carlos as well plays chess and I found his account as well and he's a little bit higher. He's 886 rapid, which,
Okay.
it's not bad. And he
Yeah, it's almost
also,
900.
which is really close if you round up, that's 1,000 basically. So,
Yeah, it's like basically 1,000,
so
which is basically 2,000, which is basically a grandmaster.
exactly. And so he also did this interview with his sponsor Santander where he's like
Mhm.
playing chess in the interview and he talks about how, Formula 1 and chess are really similar because you're strategizing and in the moment like when you're in the car you have to think about it like a few turns ahead. I just think it's really I think chess draws a lot of parallels to other sports. But then I
Hmm.
find it really interesting the kind of bubbles that we live in as people who are in the chess world, but also people who are celebrities who play chess but don't know anything kind of about the chess world.
Yeah, I think that a lot of celebrities want to present themselves as being chess adjacent. And I think it's because they associate chess as having this elevated aesthetic. This goes back a long time, and I know that you're the history expert, but for a very, very, very long time, the aristocratic class has gifted each other chess sets, you know? And so you see these celebrities with crazy expensive chess sets. Um, Sometimes completely impractical. Sometimes chess sets where, as a chess player, you see them and you're like, I don't even imagine playing on this chess set. That would be so unpleasant. But they love the idea of having the chess set in their home and then taking pictures of themselves with the chess set. And we were able to find, honestly, countless images of celebrities very, very proudly posing with their chess sets in completely illegal positions. So I think it was Usain Bolt went viral a little while ago for posting a chess position where his king was not on the board. So he was playing white, and the white king had somehow been captured, taken off the board, and Usain Bolt was just, he was calmly about to play a pawn move as though nothing had happened.
I love that. I have seen those too. The most famous one that I've seen is Alexandra Daddario, and she had her board set up wrong. The white square wasn't in the lower right corner, and it was kind of a mess, and it went really viral. And so everyone was like, "You set up the board wrong," at least in the chess world, and then it kind of made its way out to the bigger world. But I agree with you. I think that celebrities like the aesthetic of playing chess. I love that you brought up the history tidbit because it's true. But the aristocracy like had a chokehold on chess, and they would make. Actually, this is funny because when I was writing my master's thesis, uh, my first chapter was about chess in early modern Russia, and so recently established uh, the Russian monarchy. And I remember that Peter the Great, I think, don't quote me on that, just go look at my thesis, but one of the early monarchs, I'm pretty sure it was Peter the Great, he would have these elaborate chessboards created, and one of them was created to symbolize the like strength of the Russian military at the time. And it's just, it's true. I like really think celebrities like this idea of playing chess. I also think for them it allows them to feel a bit more intellectual. You know, people really think that people who play chess are really smart. And there are a lot of smart people that play chess, but I don't think necessarily correlation equals causation. So,
Yeah, actually, this whole situation reminds me of that video that came out relatively recently of Hailey Bieber. Um, and she's doing an interview where she's talking about which books she's reading. And then she just picks up two books and she's like, I love these ones. And it's like Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky and and just like some Nietzsche book. And it's like, girl, I first of all, you haven't even said the names of these books. I think this may be the first time you've ever seen them in your entire life. And I get that this happens a lot when you're a celebrity and you're like on a set or something and you just have props, right? I think at the end of the day that's kind of what these things are, like the chessboards and the books and everything. They're just props and they're designed to create an image and it has actually very little to do with the individual, like whoever the celebrity is, whether or not, you know, they could be a chess player or not, or whether or not they have an interest in it. I think it's just all about branding and creating an image. Like I don't believe that Hailey Bieber is reading Crime and Punishment or whichever Russian novel it was that she held up. And I don't believe, you know, that Amy Schumer knows how to play chess because I saw a picture of her board set up with like a completely illegal position. Um, and it's just like who do you think you're fooling? Because as soon as you reach an audience that even knows like a teeny tiny bit about whatever industry you're pretending to be a part of, like the whole constructed image falls apart.
I understand, like, everyone in the world knows of the game of chess and they know kind of how to move the pieces, even if they don't know anything really in depth about the game, or, who the world chess champion is, or how kind of tournament and FIDE works. Like, I get that. It's fine. Chess is a very international game given its history. But sometimes I get really annoyed because celebrities like performatively play chess, which there's such a great opportunity to bring more people into the game. And then they just kind of ruin that for us because they're just doing it performatively and they don't really care. This is kind of a side tangent, but not last year, but the first year that we started Women in Chess, we had our annual fundraiser, and I emailed Charles Leclerc's manager and I was like, "Hey guys, I see that Charles plays chess all the time. I'm trying to make things better for women in chess. If you don't know anything about that, like, we're having our annual fundraiser. If, you know, you could help out, that would be great." We did get an anonymous 2,000 euro donation. I don't want to say it's from him, but like, Charles Leclerc, if you're helping out the chess world, I really appreciate that because I don't think a lot of celebrities do that or even think that far ahead about, hey, maybe there's a whole world where people are trying to like improve this game and this game means a lot to them, and here I am just kind of playing on my board that's set up wrong.
Yeah, the chess world itself is very alive and complex and full of people who are trying to use chess as a tool to, either improve their lives or to make a living or just to challenge themselves. And I think that for people who aren't in chess, that you don't see that depth that the chess community has. It's not just people, showing up to a chess club once a week, maybe playing some games and then going home. Like there are, you know, girls like the girls in the scholars program of the Women in Chess Foundation. Like chess is it for them. Like it's their greatest passion. It's what they want to do. And the like journey that they have ahead of them is tough. And what we want to do is make it easier. And so when we see people who have so much power and such enormous platforms use chess so flippantly and without, none of them know how to play chess. I mean, the chess world often doesn't help itself because it has quite a bad reputation at times. And I think that um, the chess world can be quite hostile to outsiders. And I don't want this podcast episode to be complicit in that. I don't want us to be like, anyone who doesn't play chess is stupid, because that's totally not what I'm saying. I think the smartest people in the world probably don't know how to play chess, because I genuinely don't think there's a correlation between the two. But I think that like chess is very misunderstood in this way. And you have, like you say, Amelia, such a great opportunity with this board game, which is still so underdeveloped as a mind sport or as even an e-sport compared to other things, that celebrities could very easily get involved, widen the reach that chess has. They could even, like, there is so little money in chess that it would be so easy for like literally any celebrity to set up a tournament or a foundation. And because it's just so small, the amount of time and effort like that it would take for them to break into this industry compared to others is so much lower, you know?
I agree. They have such good opportunities, but also too, a lot of chess obviously is online now. You can play online so much, and there are so many online learning resources. And I think this is where I get a little bit, I agree with you. I don't think chess helps itself because I think that sometimes in chess, we don't take advantage also on our side of the opportunities that arise to expand the game of chess. And so it's definitely 100% a two-way street in terms of, we don't want this podcast obviously to be hostile to others, because we're definitely complicit on our own side and not reaching out to people to help expand the game. But also too, I think I just really want everyone to take 5 minutes and Google like what's going on in chess. Like, is is there anything I can do to help this board game that I like playing just so casually? And so I think that it's really interesting when we see celebrities play chess. Um, Especially because I do agree a lot of it is they like the idea of playing chess, they like the aesthetics of chess. Um, and so I find that this performative nature of chess, though, it definitely has its pros and its cons.
Yeah, I think that like the idea of being a good chess player is very, it's kind of romantic in a way, you know, it's like a hidden skill that you feel like would add depth to your character. But only if you know nothing about the chess world. Like once you start playing chess and you learn about chess and you learn about chess players, you're like, "Oh, I was wrong." I was wrong. That actually is not the vibe at all. And it's only, you know, it's only kind of sexy if you don't know what's going on, you know? Like only if you don't know about chess is chess kind of sexy.
That's so
And
true. Put that on a t-shirt. Only if you don't know what's going on is just sexy.
it's kind of like, you know, when you see someone on the street and you're like, whoa, they're hot. And then they open their mouth and you're like, oh no.
It's like, oh no,
That's
you're
kind of
not.
that's kind of what it's like with chess. Is like you realize that chess is not so sexy and esoteric, but it's actually just like very, you know, theoretical and concrete, and you actually it's hard and not sexy.
That's true. But I think that there are some celebrities who have like kind of successfully made their way into the chess world or are like collaborating with people in the chess world. Um,
That's true.
for
Yeah, you
example,
have.
Will Smith.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of him, but yeah, you do have Will Smith. I forgot he did a thing with the Botas, I
Hmm.
think.
Who were you thinking of?
I was thinking of Rainn Wilson after PogChamps because he was in The Office and he's like a very well known actor. But he did PogChamps, which is an online chess tournament that celebrities, mostly streamers, did. But after that, like he kept playing chess, and I think he even played chess before that. But he's actually good. Like
Hmm.
he's I think between 15 and 1700, or maybe he's even higher now. But I think that's what his rating was when he did PogChamps. And he only recently did a, because he has a podcast, and he did an interview with Danny Ranch, who is the chief chess officer at chess.com, because he just released a book. So he's still, you know, in the chess world and doing chess things.
That's interesting. I totally forgot about Rainn Wilson. Loved him in The Office, but that is true. I forgot about his stint on PogChamps, but he does really love chess. And so I think that's really nice when like, you know, he loves it. He's trying to get into it. He's still I think he's a bit more on the celebrity side of the chess community, but I still really appreciate that he's like trying to at least be a little bit involved. I think he's going to be my next target in unsolicited emails trying to raise money for women in chess.
You should. We should get him on the stream,
We
on
should
the fundraiser stream.
wait, that's so true. We should get him on the fundraiser stream.
I know that Amelia is not going to plug this, so I will. But for those of you who don't know, the Women in Chess Foundation, Amelia's charity, has a yearly fundraiser that we host in December, usually on Twitch. So you can come to my Twitch channel. We will be announcing more about this closer to the time. But in early December, we will run a 12-hour stream fundraising for the Women in Chess Foundation with loads of amazing guests and different fun live activities. So if you are able to, you can donate anytime to the Women in Chess Foundation using the link in the description box. But make sure you don't miss our fundraiser because it's going to be so much fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. Every year we have so many people who are involved, and we play a lot of chess on the stream. We do a lot of silly, goofy things. The first year, Dodgy dyed his hair pink, which was fun. This year, I'm probably going to get a chess tattoo. So stay
Crazy.
tuned, donate to the Women in Chess Foundation, and manifest that Rainn Wilson comes on our stream because that would be really fun.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Middle Game. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you think that there are any celebrities who play chess that we missed, then let us know in the comments. We will see you next week for another episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.